Hey, you know how preparing for an English test can be kind of boring? Well, it's not with E2 language because we have these things called live classes, which are taught by expert teachers. They happen twice a day, 7 days a week. So if you come along, it's actually like live and there's people in the classroom with you and it's happening and you're being taught. You're not studying by yourself. So it makes it way more fun. In the video that you're about to see, you're going to see a replay of one of our live classes. If you want to join our live classes, then go to e2language.com. You can sign up for free and you can join our sample live classes. Anyway, enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome to this free sample class. Here we go. I'm Alex from E2 Language. Nice to have you with me. If you can see me and hear me clearly, please say hello or yes in the chat box. I'm typing hello now. Beautiful. Hello in Colombia and India. Hi Vishnu, Zaya. Hello, hello. Lots of people here. Great to see you all. Happy Monday if it's Monday where you are, or hopefully you're enjoying the rest of Sunday, some of you. Cool. All right, welcome along. This is our free sample class. We have one of these each week, same time. You can join us on E2 Language for free with my friends here on Zoom. Some of you are watching on YouTube as well, so welcome to you. This is just a half hour session, like a taste of the E2 classes, and a little bit of Q&A at the end. So you guys with me on Zoom during the session, use the chat box to communicate with me and with your other classmates. Hello, Noel. Oh, that's good to hear. And if you're on Zoom, there's a chat feature there as well, which you can participate in. But I'm checking Zoom rather than YouTube. So next time you can join me here. Let's get started straight into it today. Okay, so this is a listening sample class. Our listening class is usually on Friday here at E2. Those of you on Zoom, just check your chat box settings. It should be open to all panelists and attendees. Just double check that. There we go. We're going to do a quick welcome. That's happening now. Listening overview about the test. We'll do a quick practice together. We're going to look today at questions and also the script to really zoom in on those problem areas. Q&A at the end, 30 minutes. Mazen, oh, good luck. Your test is coming up. So YouTubers, next time e2language.com, make a free account. When you log in, there's a calendar. You click on sample class to sign up. That's it, really, really simple. This is our live class calendar for this week. If you're new to E2 or if you want to join today after this class, coming up in about 2 hours, we have our new member welcome. So in this session, I show you all around E2 Language platform. So where to find the course materials, how to sign up for live classes, how to book one-on-one tutorials, how to get feedback, all of that's in the new member welcome. And then the rest of the week, we study. You can come to as many classes as you want if you're a paid member. If you're a free member, we usually have about 2 or 3 free classes per week. I'll come back to that at the end. Let's get straight into IELTS listening. The basics. Okay, so first of all, how many minutes approximately is the test? How many questions and how many parts? Type away. Good. So we're talking about listening here. That's right. So it's about 30 minutes, give or take. Questions always 40 questions and always 4 parts to the test. That's right. So a few things to keep in mind. You hear the audio how many times? Yeah, only once. You hear the audio once. And at the end of the test, in the paper delivered test, you get some extra time. How many minutes? Yeah, so on the paper delivered test, you have an extra 10 minutes at the end. During that time, you put all your answers from the question sheet where you've been making notes and drawing onto the official answer sheet. So they give you plenty of time to do that. In the computer delivered test, that's right, Giuseppe, you got it 2 minutes because you don't need to transfer. So 2 minutes is plenty. And during the test, there are little breaks all the time, like 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there. Lots of time to read ahead and to check back as well. Capital letters, all capitals is okay on the paper delivered test, but on the computer delivered test, you shouldn't type in all capitals. So follow convention. Now the 4 parts of the test. Part 1 is always a conversation between how many people? Gayatri, Hugo, yes, always between 2 people in part 1. Part 2 is a talk given by 1 person. These are just everyday kind of social or community situations. Then on to part 3, it's a conversation, how many people? So it's actually usually 2, sometimes 3, maximum 4, but actually I've never heard 4, but the website says maximum 4. And part 4 is 1 person delivering what? Very good. A lecture. Yeah. And part 3 and 4 are always academic context. So always set at university. So part 3 will be like students and a tutor. And part 4 will always be a professor giving an academic lecture. All right. Today we're going to practice part 3. And part 3 is often, almost always, multiple choice or includes some multiple choice questions. Okay. How do you feel about multiple choice, guys? Confident? Good? All right. Confusing? Yeah, I think multiple choice is the most difficult type of question in listening. And it's just difficult because of the way the questions are designed. So we're going to look at that today. Now, multiple choice in listening, the thing to keep in mind, there are always well, almost always 3 options and you have to choose one of them. So 1 is correct and the other 2, so let's say A and C, are incorrect. We call them distractors. And the test is written with the distractors. They try to like take your attention or catch your eye, catch your ear, is that the right expression? To take you away from the real answer. So 1 answer and 2 distractors in multiple choice questions. Here's a very basic example. So in a perfect world, in an imaginary English test, you might get a question like this, a really easy one. What will Tim study this semester? A, maths, B, history, C, science. Then imagine you hear this conversation. Somebody says, Tim, what will you study this semester? And Tim says, science. Easy. So then our answer is C, science. But as you know, IELTS listening does not work like this. That is way too easy. I could answer that question in your language, even though I don't understand it. So just matching sound and sound. That's not what a language test does. More likely, conversation will look like this. Tim, what will you study this semester? And then Tim is going to include distractors in his answer. Tim says, I'm really sick of maths, so I've dropped that. I'm taking up science. So science though, so since I finished my history module last year, so you hear all 3 things, maths, science, history. And the answer again is science. But you can see you really have to understand what Tim is saying there in order to answer that question. So that's how multiple choice are designed. They want to separate who heard the word from who understood the language there. Easy enough? All right. By the way, I'm going to answer your questions at the end. So I'm sort of ignoring the chat box for a moment. I'm sorry to you guys. Let's talk about method for multiple choice. We're going to use a 4-step method. It's really basic. You probably already do this. First thing you need to do is check the instructions, mainly because sometimes in the test, you just choose one answer from 3, but other times you may have to choose 2 answers from 4 or 2 answers from 5. But check the instructions, read the question stems, underline keywords or highlight keywords, and then read the answer options after that. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Here's our big page of text in the test. We go straight to the instructions, number 1. So section 3, choose the correct letter A, B, or C. Easy enough. Then we're going to look at the stems of the questions here. These are the stems, so not A, B, C, just the question or the half of a sentence here. Before the audio plays, read all of them if you can. And as you read, underline the keywords or highlight the keywords and try to anticipate or guess, imagine what you're going to hear. So 21, how did Jamie choose the topic for her presentation? I would underline how, choose, topic, presentation. Those are important words to me. You may underline something different. It doesn't really matter at all. How did she choose the topic for her presentation? 22, Jamie says that before this presentation, so I need to be listening for something that happened in the past here. 23, in relation to social media, the professor advises Jamie. What would you underline here? What's important, do you think? Good, yeah, advice, good. Social media, definitely, that's a good word to listen for. Yeah, and the professor, what does the professor say? So I would underline social media, professor advises, same as you guys. And 24, what does Jamie say about using technology in this presentation? Keywords. Computer delivered test, you can highlight on the screen. Okay, nice job. Thanks, guys. For me, Jamie, what does Jamie, not the professor, say about using technology in this presentation? Nice. Okay, so then if you have time, if you're still waiting for the audio to begin, then you can read ABC, but it's not really necessary. Sometimes reading ABC can overwhelm you, like give you too much information. So it's most important that you read the questions. The other thing is to expect distractors. So look at all the options, but it's not about matching vocabulary. Okay, so just always know that 2 of these options are designed as distractors. Okay, we're going to do question 1 together. I think I'm going to close the chat box for this one, so you're not distracted. So we're just going to listen to a little bit of this conversation. And the question here is, how did Jamie choose the topic for her presentation? A, she saw a film. B, the issue has been in the media recently. Or C, one of her parents is an expert on it. Okay, so we're going to have 1 answer and 2 distractions. Let's go. So I want you to listen to the whole thing before you make up your mind here. Here we go.
Hi Jamie, thanks for coming in today. And let me start by saying well done on a really great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
I was actually very impressed with the class overall, and I could see you'd put in a lot of work.
I sure did, but I must say it was surprisingly enjoyable.
That's good. Now, your topic was genetically modified food and the controversies surrounding it on both sides of the political divide.
That's right.
So, how did you come to settle on this topic? Was it because of all the articles about GM food in the papers recently?
I actually felt like the issue has dropped out of the public consciousness lately. I haven't seen an article on it in the mainstream media for a long time. I do remember that my dad used to get so furious reading all about the plans to expand GM crops and imports.
I see.
When I saw that movie by the naturalist, I forget his name, the soil expert, I guess that's when I really got interested, and my presentation just flowed from there.
Yes, I know the one. It won several awards. So did you know much about GM food prior to your research?
Okay, I'm watching the chat box fly with that 99.9% correct answers. Okay, here comes the script. Let's have a look here. So the professor says, how did you come to settle on this topic? Was it because of all the articles about GM in the papers recently? Now, this is our signpost language. So the speaker will always let you know the question is coming up, or let you know they're changing topic. So how did you come to settle on this topic? That's my signal. This is question 21 coming up. Jamie said, I felt like the issue has dropped out of the public consciousness lately. I haven't seen an article on it in the mainstream media for a long time. So when you hear that, you can eliminate one of those options, right? Was it because of the articles in the paper? She said, I haven't seen anything in the mainstream media for a long time. So B, you can eliminate. I do remember that my dad used to get so furious reading about the plans to expand GM crops and imports. So her dad, this is my trigger word, I guess. Okay, parents, and you're exactly right there, Carly. My dad used to get furious. Was her dad an expert on it? Were her parents experts on it? One of them? Doesn't say that, just says he used to get angry, but we don't know if he was an expert. So that leaves A, and then she goes on to say, when I saw the movie by the naturalist, I forget his name, that's when I got really interested and my presentation flowed from there. So almost all of you were correct. It was A. She saw a film about it. 1 point, I think, to everyone, basically. Well done, a good start. So you can see from this little bit of script how the question writers work. You know, they're not trying to trick you, but they're trying to check that you understand the language, you understand what they're talking about.
Hey, are you enjoying this live class replay? Hopefully you are. Remember, if you want to join them live in the moment with expert teachers and all of your peers, then go to e2language.com and sign up for free.
All right, so now on to the other questions. Here we go. We've done 21, but we're going to listen to it again. But now I want you to do 22, 23, 24. So Jamie says, before this presentation, in relation to social media, the professor advises Jamie to. What does Jamie say about using technology in this presentation? I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to read all the options, and then I'm going to push play. Okay, so 20 seconds just to read, and then we'll play. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks for coming in today. And let me start by saying well done on a really great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
I was actually very impressed with the class overall, and I could see you'd put in a lot of work.
I sure did, but I must say it was surprisingly enjoyable.
That's good. Now, your topic was genetically modified food and the controversies surrounding it on both sides of the political divide.
That's right.
So, how did you come to settle on this topic? Was it because of all the articles about GM food in the papers recently?
I actually felt like the issue has dropped out of the public consciousness lately. I haven't seen an article on it in the mainstream media for a long time. I do remember that my dad used to get so furious reading all about the plans to expand GM crops and imports.
I see.
When I saw that movie by the naturalist, I forget his name, the soil expert, I guess that's when I really got interested, and my presentation just flowed from there.
Yes, I know the one. It won several awards. So did you know much about GM food prior to your research?
I'd thought I was an expert, but what I realized through my reading for this presentation was that I'd had a really biased attitude. I mean, I was only really aware of one half of the argument. I never read anything by people who were in favor of GM technology. It's obvious now, but I don't think I really understood the different views on the matter.
Yes, that can happen, particularly these days with the way our social media is curated.
How do you mean?
Well, everyone's social media is increasingly personalized. The news stories that appear on your Facebook feed, for instance, tend to reflect the political or social views you hold.
Yeah, I guess you're right. What do we do about that, though? I mean, we can't just disregard everything we see, right? How do we know which stories to trust? Only mainstream media?
It's more a matter of consciousness, I would say. As long as you understand the way modern marketing and media work and their strategies, you can make informed choices about what you read and how far you trust it. Do remember that mainstream media also has its biases.
Of course, that's true.
Now, back to your presentation. I made notes which I'll send through with your final grade, but I'm interested to know how you feel about it. Were there any areas that you were disappointed in? I know you'd been anxious about the technology side of things.
I was. Last time I did a presentation for my history subject, it was a disaster.
How so?
I think I was just way too ambitious with the tech on that occasion. I had moving graphics and audio and video, and in the end, it just distracted from what I really wanted to say.
That certainly wasn't the case this time, though.
No, I think that's what I'm unhappy about. I was so put off by the previous experience that I went for just bare bones this time. It was very rudimentary, really. I wish I'd aimed a bit higher.
Well, that's something to keep in mind for next time.
Yeah, a good lesson, I guess.
All right. Thank you, everybody, sharing your answers. And we're looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to open up the chat box now. Thank you. There we go. So let's check the answers with the scripts. A little bit slower, I'm sorry, but it's valuable. So question 22, Jamie says before this presentation, she was indifferent. What does this mean? She was indifferent. What's another way to say that? Very good. Thanks, VK. And Dorothy, yeah, neutral, doesn't really mind either way, no strong feelings about it. So indifferent, she was strongly in favor of GM, or she knew only one side of the argument. Okay, so they said, Professor said, I know the one, it won awards. Did you know much about GM food prior to your research? Here is our signpost, prior to your research, before this presentation. I'd thought I was an expert, but what I realized through my reading for this presentation was that I'd had a really biased attitude, one-sided. I mean, I was only really aware of one half of the argument. I never read anything by people who were in favor of GM technology. It's obvious now, but I don't think I really understood the different views on the matter. Okay, lots of distractors happening there. So she was strongly in favor. She says, I've never read anything by people who were in favor of it. And different views, this is maybe a little distractor for indifferent. These are distractors. We can eliminate A. She wasn't indifferent, she was biased. And she was strongly in favor. No, she wasn't, because she'd never read anything about that side of the argument. That's right, so it's C. I had a really biased attitude. I was only aware of one half of the argument. She knew only one side of the argument. 1 point for you guys, well done. 23, in relation to social media, the professor advises Jamie to ignore articles with political messages, be aware of the techniques marketers use, only trust stories from the mainstream media. Lots of people saying B, a couple saying C. Okay. So he said, that can happen, particularly these days with the way our social media is curated. Let's turn this off. How do you mean? Well, everyone's social media is increasingly personalized. The news stories that appear on your Facebook feed, for instance, reflect blah, blah, blah. Here is our signpost, social media. Nothing there that really helped us. Jamie says, what do we do though? I mean, we can't just disregard everything we see, right? How do we know which stories to trust? Only mainstream media? Question. So this is all Jamie here, so nothing about the professor yet. The professor says it's more a matter of consciousness, I would say, as long as you understand the way modern marketing and media work and their strategies, you can make informed choices about what you read, how far you trust it. Do remember that mainstream media also has its biases. Okay. So this one, distractor. This is Jamie asking a question, not the professor advising Jamie. So does the professor say ignore articles with political messages? No. Does the professor say you should only trust stories from the mainstream media? No, definitely not. You guys are spot on. It's B, understand the way modern marketing and media work and their strategies and make informed decisions. All right, is anyone sitting on 3 out of 3 at the moment? Very good. All right, so final one. Well done, guys. Final one. What does Jamie say about using technology in this presentation? Now, this one's a bit tricky because Jamie talks about this presentation and one from a while ago. So she found it harder than she expected. She should have been more ambitious. She felt it distracted from her message. Okay. Professor, now, were there any areas you were disappointed in? I know you had been anxious about the technology side of things. There's our signpost, technology. Jamie says, last time I did a presentation, so last time, before this, it was a disaster. I think I was just way too ambitious with the tech on that occasion. I had moving graphics and audio and video, and in the end, it distracted from what I really wanted to say. So this is Jamie talking about the presentation before this presentation. Okay, so these are distractors again. The professor says that certainly wasn't the case this time. Jamie says, no, I think that's what I'm unhappy about. I was so put off, deterred, discouraged, put off by that previous experience that I just went for bare bones this time. It was very rudimentary, really. I wish I'd aimed a bit higher. Okay, so what's she saying there? A, it was harder than she'd expected. She should have been more ambitious. She felt it distracted from her message. Okay, so still a bit of discussion in the chat box there. But this is, yeah, I think most of you got it. It was B. She should have been more ambitious. So it wasn't harder. The tech wasn't harder, but she went for a very basic tech. She says, I was really put off by the previous experience. I went for bare bones. That's like very, very basic, bare bones. It was very rudimentary, another word for basic. I wish I had aimed a bit higher. So I wish I had gone for something more ambitious. I wish I'd been more ambitious. So that one is B. Maybe that one was the most difficult question, I think. Yeah, all right, so your scores looks like 3s. A few of you got 4 out of 4, well done. These are the final answers. So A, C, B, B is what we should have got. Okay, good job. So in our listening classes, which happen on Friday, we do this a lot. We use the script to analyze the way the questions are working. And if you are sort of stuck on your IELTS listening journey, sometimes using the transcript will help you to make that breakthrough. Because it might be that you just don't understand some of the words, or maybe you missed some of the tenses. So in that case, things like, I wish I had aimed a bit higher. When someone's speaking quickly, that can be difficult to catch. Now, vocab-wise, Did you see any unfamiliar vocabulary today? Curated, yeah. Bare bones, good. Okay, so in all the live classes, I always recommend keep a little book next to you and just write down words that you don't know or words that you don't know well. And after class, look them up, put them in another book, make some flashcards, try to learn those words. The more vocab you have, the better your score is going to be in everything in IELTS, in particular in reading and in listening. So here are some that may be new or not so familiar: biased, consciousness, mainstream, drop out of, crops, furious, indifferent, bare bones, rudimentary. So after class, look them up, write them down, create some flashcards, and just keep building. Every day, try to build up a few more words that you didn't know yesterday. For more listening help, you can jump into the course. So the second button when you log in on E2 Language is academic or general, whatever you're enrolled in. Click on that and you'll go to the listening section, which has all the different listening question types. So multiple choice, maps, matching, all the different question types are in there. Plus there's some practice tests which are in the computer delivered format, 4 of those. And the topic toolkits have links to podcasts and videos as well to help build up your listening skills. Be sure to register for our complete listening class. Remember, this one today is just a sample short class with me, but Fridays we have 1 hour long. And recorded classes are kept as well. So you can see the last 2 weeks of all of our classes kept in this section here. Once again, this is the live class calendar. So listening class is coming up Friday. Also on Friday this month, we've got grammar for IELTS. Last week we did articles in this session. This week we are doing prepositions by popular demand. And you can also catch the last 2 weeks of the grammar class in your live class library. So grab a photo if you want of this one. Otherwise, those of you here on E2 with me, you know that all this information is on your calendar when you log in on E2 Language. And that is the end of our session. We're right on time today. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, I look forward to seeing you here on E2 next time. Thank you for watching. And those of you here on Zoom, if you've got a couple of questions, I'll answer them as quickly as possible. Remember that the new member welcome is coming up in 1 hour and a half. So kind of E2 or IELTS questions, I'll try to answer in that session. Sorry, VK, I kept seeing your question about capital letters. Okay, and someone else about capital letters. So we asked IELTS, like IDP, what's the rule? And that's what they told us. Paper delivered test, all capitals is fine. That includes writing. Computer delivered test, no. So you shouldn't type all in capitals in the writing test. And also you shouldn't type all in capitals in the listening and the reading test. Does it affect your score? I don't know. I doubt it. But that's what they tell us. That's what we tell you. That's the best advice. So VK, you were asking if you wrote coffee table with capital C and capital T, is it wrong? I'm not sure, but I would just advise you, don't do it. So it's somebody's name or country, yeah, capital letter. But most of the time, like if you're filling a gap in a sentence, usually it's going to be a small, start with a small letter. Where can I find video about gerunds? Maybe in the core skills, in the skill building button on your course, look through the core skills lessons there. Calendar, yes, here it is. Any new offers for packages? Just follow, oh, you probably get emails each week. There's usually $10 off or 10% off here and there. Right at this moment, I'm not sure, but keep an eye on the social medias. I don't think there's one today, but check your email. ES, can we write not given in capitals? If you're on the computer, true, false, and not given are actually multiple choice. So you just click the button that says not given. All right. Neetha, can we cross off the options in the computer delivered test? You can't cross them, but you can highlight. So that may be useful for you. How to deal with accents. Yeah, so accents, I think the best thing to do there is to listen to a variety of audio. So definitely listen to the IELTS practice test. You can find all the Cambridge tests on YouTube. And also listen to podcasts. So in the topic toolkits inside your course, if you go to the course vocabulary topic toolkits, there are links to podcasts in there from the BBC in the UK, from Australia, and from the US as well. So just listen to a variety of them. Recorded classes are only available if you are a paid member. So if you have the, let's say, Express package, the $44 package, then you will have access to the recorded classes. Yeah, good advice, VK. We also have teachers from all different countries on E2. Yeah, so that's a good way to practice with accents as well. The mock tests on E2, we just have the one at the moment. So there are practice tests which are not scored by the teachers, but the mock test, which has the face-to-face speaking, there's just one of those, but you can get extra feedback. So you can have extra speaking sessions by getting the speaking intensive, or extra writing feedback as well. So as I said, that's what IELTS tells us: follow capitalization convention. So if it's somebody's name, yes, it should have a capital letter at the beginning. All right. Thank you, guys. So other listening questions, have a look on the calendar. It's on Friday with wonderful Graham, and he can answer all of those for you. You can also choose to work on listening in your tutorials. If you have bronze, silver, or gold, you can book a 45-minute session with your teacher and work on whatever you want to do. That's it for this quick class. I'll see you again at the new member welcome in 1 hour and a bit. Otherwise, have a great start to the week. Be sure to register for the classes coming up. Lots of good stuff to learn this week, and I'll see you in a couple of them. Bye for now. Thank you.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that replay of our live class. Remember, if you want to join in the live class action, check out e2language.com. You can sign up for free and join our sample live classes. And if you do want to upgrade, then you'll get heaps of live classes. And in fact, you can get unlimited live classes on some of the packages. They will help you enormously, and they make test prep kind of fun. Cool. Cheerio.